My name is Hayden Baker and welcome back to Hayden Cinnamon. Today we're going to be talking about the movie Final Destination.
The plane's gonna explode! It's not a joke! It's not a joke!
So Final Destination 6 Bloodlines coming out in this May, I believe. I really wanted to review this whole series right here and I wanted to rank them at the end after watching Final Destination 6. So believe it or not, this actually was a first time watch for me. I've seen part 2, 3, 4, and 5. All of them multiple times. I actually grew up watching 2 and 3, and I've never really had the chance to watch this one, nor the motivation to, for some reason. And so this was a first time watch, and I gotta say, I really want to kick myself in the butt for never watching this because, dude, this one was like really good. Alex, played by Devon Sawa, is on the plane with his classmates for a spring break vacation to go to Paris. And he has the premonition that the plane is going to crash. And he freaks out and tells everybody, hey, this plane's going to crash. I'm getting off here. Ends up with a fight with this other dude and they get off the plane. And it's like him and 6, 7 other people. And so they get off the plane and then sure enough, they look out the window, plane crashes, window explodes. And they're like, whoa, what just happened? Now, me having watched the other ones, I'm like, okay, that's our kickoff right there. 2's the log truck, 3's the roller coaster, 4's the NASCAR, 5's the bus, whatever. I knew this one was a plane. I basically knew the premise of this one. The way it's played out, though, and the emotion and the acting in this one, in my opinion, is better than all of them, bar none. And then you get the reaction out of all the other characters like Billy Hitchcock, played by Sean William Scott, who I'm also a fan of.
So I figured it out. Why hot dogs come in packages of 10 and hot dog buns come in packages of 8.
And then the reaction out of the teacher and the reaction out of Claire, I think her name is Claire Rivers? Claire Rivers? I don't know. But it's the girl that we're also following in the film that's alongside of Devon Sawa, who believes in him and is sticking beside him through this whole thing when no one else is. I mean, you have the FBI sitting there watching this man. You understand why everyone else is on edge, and if you were in that situation, would you believe in this Alex character? Would you stand beside him, or would you be with the FBI and the other people who were involved in the accident that survived? Would you be on the edge and be like, no, get away from me, dude, you're weird? Me personally, I probably would be on the get away from me side, but watching the movie and the way that the actors really portray that, you really care for this character Alex, and you really want him to be okay, and you want a couple of the other characters to be okay. A couple of them you kind of want to die, you're like, go on. But as far as our main 2 here, Alex and Claire, you really want them to live. So they go on this journey where they're figuring out the pattern of death, and they're figuring out, he goes back in his head and he kind of relives the plane crash. He actually has a piece of paper where he writes down who's in order and who dies next. And that's the pattern he comes up with. And then you have Alex and Claire going to the morgue and meeting Tony Todd's character. And he tells them, you can't cheat death. He says, well, you can, but it comes back. Like, it sets up a series where if you leave it and you cheat it, it sets up a whole new path for you and it's going to catch up with you. You're going to die. Like, there's no defeating it. And so then it kicks them into high gear and they're like, no, we're going to get it because we cheated it once. We can cheat it again, and we can cheat it again, and we can cheat it again. And we'll spend our whole lives looking over our shoulders just to cheat death one more time. To me, that is played out very, very well. Along that, the deaths themselves, what I really like about this one is they don't only just look like freak accidents, which, and all of them kind of do just look like freak accidents. They kind of stretch it pretty far by the 3rd one. But in this one, they also look like suicides. Like, they look very self-inflicted. And I've always said this about this. It would be cool to kind of see that in this franchise without seeing the first one, which now I feel stupid because they've done it. But I wish they would get back to that because they've lost it. Same with like the Nightmare on Elm Street. What was so great about that first film of Nightmare on Elm Street, sidebar here, was all the kills look very self-inflicted until you get to Johnny Depp's character where the blood shoots up on the ceiling and it's like a freak accident, but there's still no way to explain it. other than maybe self-infliction. So with this, I really like that aspect. Like with the first character who dies, Todd, he gets wrapped up in this cord in the shower, and then you see the string tightening, and you're like, wait, what? Death is an actual character in this? That was also another cool thing, was Death didn't seem like a curse. Death seemed like an entity that was following these kids. In 2, 3, 4, 5, and I presume probably 6, Death is more of a curse than anything. And in this one, it seemed like someone was in an invisible cloak and costumed as Death itself, and was killing these kids off one by one. And that was also really cool. Like, you see the water retract from the puddle that the dude slipped in, and you see, like, in the mirror, you see the waves, like as if someone was there. You see, when the teacher gets killed, you see it, the fog over the teapot. There's several things in here that lets the audience know, like, this isn't just a curse, this isn't just destiny, this is a being of some sort that is haunting these kids down. This seems personal. There's like a personal vendetta against these kids, and that is really terrifying. Also, there's a really decent story here, which I was really shocked by. This one actually felt like a real story with character growth and arcs and characters you care about, and really, really, really good emotional beats. Some of the other things that I really liked about the film was there was really good kills in it. Now, they're not over the top gory like what the film eventually goes towards, immediately starting with 2. The kills aren't gory really. I mean, there's a couple, there's some blood, but it's not, the movie doesn't feel like it's about the kills like what we go to these movies for today. The movie felt like a slasher. It felt like a really good slasher with a really good story and really good character growth, and the killer was just death itself. It wasn't, it's like Cabin Fever, where the killer is a fever, it's a cold, it's a sickness. In this one, it's death itself. Again, repeating what I've already said earlier, but that was just really cool to me. The practical effects in it looked really well. Now, there is some CGI, and the CGI is dated, but not bad at all. It's not enough to take you out of the film. It doesn't put a pause on you, and it's just like, hey, here's some CGI. Wow.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
The CGI actually works. It feels like kind of like movie magic. Like, the CGI is kind of hidden in the dark almost. Like I said, there is a little bit, like with the water, like I mentioned earlier, retracting and stuff. That's a little wonky, but it doesn't take you out of the film. Also, not to mention the sound design. I'm a sucker for like 90s and early 2000s sound design, and 80s if it's, when it was done right, like in Terminator or like in The Thing. Mostly in the 90s and early 2000s, mainly because I grew up with it. That is like, it feels really good to see that, especially when there's a film like this that I've never seen before, and it takes me back, and that's really cool to me. Also, another thing this film does really good with is it sets up all the rules and the lore very, very well for the rest of the franchise. The rest of the franchise, for I don't know how they end up losing sight of all of it, but that sets up every single role and the tones and the lore very well and easy to pick right up off of and write a whole new script of and use the same rules and the same concept. And there's only a couple of them, like 2 and 5, that actually do that pretty well, but they still lose sight of death being a killer instead of now it's like death is a curse. And to me, I'm just confused on how this franchise lost so much sight in the beauty of this one. But all in all, I thought this one was actually really well done. There are a couple of nitpicks that I could pick about this film. There's a couple of characters that I really do not care for, but I'm glad I got what I wanted towards the end. That was the other thing, was the end was really, really cool. And I've heard stories about this actually, where this film, it was shown to a audience for a screening, and the end was different from this. And the original end sucked, like really bad. Like the audience lost it. Like they didn't care. They just walked out. And this is one of the times where studio and production interference actually works, where the studio demanded and added a new ending, and the ending was reshot and redone, and they redid the screening for it and the screen test, and the audience lost their minds. And they were like really happy with it. And so to me, I'm very thankful for when studio interference actually works, it works. The way the end is, I really liked how it ended. I really liked the payoff of it. Again, some characters I didn't care about. So like I said, a very good payoff. I'm gonna give this film a 4 out of 5. This is probably the highest rated Final Destination film I've ever seen. As of right now, it probably is my favorite. But you'll definitely see more of that later whenever I watch 6 and I finally rank all of these films. That's my Final Destination review. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? I want us all to talk about it nicely if we can. This is my opinion. It is not yours. I would love to hear your opinion. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy watching this just as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And I can't wait to make more of these. Again, I am going to be reviewing Final Destination 2, 3, 4, 5, and Bloodlines when it comes out this May 16th in theaters. Please go watch that and support that when it does come out. I can't wait to see you there. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. Let's talk about these movies.